There's this verse at the end of Leviathan when God says he sees something to the effect of like the hearts of all the men kind of thing on the earth. And there's just something that seems kind of otherworldly about Leviathan. And I thought for the season of life that we're in right now, it's like it's so easy. Right now, China's in the news for, saber rattling. And I don't know if it's more than saber rattling. And it's really, really easy to read the news right now and to go, holy crap, like things are bad and they're out of control bad. And it seems like there's nothing we can grasp onto that's giving justice or goodness. Like it just seems overwhelming. And I think there's a little bit of that with Leviathan. It's like, whether it's the enemy or the work of the enemy or something, there's those seasons, and we've lived in a couple of generations of relative comfort. We've hit a new season where things are not comfortable, and we all know, like the apple cart's been upset. We don't know necessarily exactly where everything's going to sift out. We know 2020 was hard. 2021 didn't seem that much better. 2022 has its own challenges. We're like, when is this going to let up? But there's something really beautiful. I feel like the Lord's highlighting this, like when we're overwhelmed by the work of the enemy, when you're overwhelmed by Leviathan, our job is to take a step back and to remember that Leviathan or Satan or the Satan or the adversary is that dog on a leash, and realizing as overwhelming as the evil feels and the work of the enemy is overwhelming, God is even more overwhelming, And it's this simple, and I think that's why Job responded the way he did. It feels like he wants to know, Job is desperate to know, like, is this the end of it? Like, is there no end to what Satan can inflict onto me? And God's going, no, there is an end to that, And I think just looking at humanity, looking at the church, looking like we're feeling rather Job-like right now. We're feeling like, are you going to stop this at any point? Because this feels overwhelming to me. But you see that character of God going, no, you don't understand. Like, I completely see all those things. And yes, it's way bigger than you are. And yes, there's no way you can penetrate the scales of Leviathan. But I can. And I have this under control. And you got to know, I am over this monster, that's over us. So there was that aspect to it that I was really going, again, Job is saying so much. Like I didn't get to say hardly any of that, but it's like Job is adding so many layers onto our understanding of God that the more I pour into it, the more I get out of it,
And I think it's interesting seeing his response along those lines of feeling like, not like you said, not the like, oh, sweet little Job, let me hold you, like it says something about us too. Because God knows us. And I think, again, even just in this moment in our culture where it's like it seems like universally we've realized, oh, we have a problem with our inner life. Yeah. Like it felt like it was boiling for a while, and then COVID hit, and it was like, okay, none of us can pretend that it's not a problem anymore. And it's interesting because it's on the tail end of a few decades, of maybe even a couple generations of a lot of tenderness, a lot of compassion, a lot of trying not to hurt, a lot of trying to not to offend, and what we're realizing that seems to be perhaps one of the the variables that's made it so bad. Yeah. And this word anti-fragile has been coined recently, and I've heard hear a lot of talk about it. This idea of things that actually get stronger when they're faced with adversity. Yeah. And I think I can't remember who the guy was, but I watched him on a podcast who had coined the term, was talking about, particularly about children, and the anti-fragile nature of children, how children need to have playgrounds with a rusty nail floating around, where they might get scraped on and hopefully not get tetanus. They need to get,
and they need play without parents over them, and they need this
they
developmentally
need an encounter with a bully, and to figure out, oh, okay, that person was so mean to me and said horrible things, and I pulled through. And the difference with children is it's like, what we're trying to do. Really is protect from those life scars, but those life scars come when there isn't a place of safety in life, right? So I had a close friend in junior high who got bullied quite a bit, and encounter, like it was junior high, who doesn't get called names, who doesn't have an enemy or a bully or whatever. And I encountered something not quite to the same extent he did. It scarred him for life. For me, it didn't. The difference was my home was stable. And when he went home, he had an older sibling and he had a stepfather who yelled at him constantly. So he went home to no stability. No one saying, hey, that's okay. What that person said isn't true. And, go up to that guy and stand up to him the next day and tell him, hey, you need to stop this. He didn't encounter that. When I went home, I had parents who were obnoxious in how affirming they were. And so there's that. And who also did not overly protect me from adversity. I think there's something that God in his tenderness knows sometimes we need a little bit of tough love. It's good.